Welcome back. It is your favorite Amalia Marie, and today we're doing a pros and cons list of living in Charlotte, North Carolina. I have lived here for 3 years, and of course everyone has different perspectives. This is based off of my perspective. I am a northerner. I am from New Jersey. Charlotte is a growing city, but I'm used to bigger cities, and I also travel a lot. I'm going to tell you about this here Queen City. Let's start with the pros. There is so much to do in Charlotte. You can go to the Whitewater Raft Center, Carowinds, various parks, trails, Crowder's Mountain, that's a little drive away. There's a lot of museums here. Charlotte is always opening something new, creating something. I will keep saying throughout this video, it is a growing city, so there is a lot of expansion going on. One of my favorite things about Charlotte is the food scene. I feel like it is a very low-key and underrated food scene, but Charlotte has some pretty good food. There are so many different cuisines and kind of restaurants here. Whether you're someone who likes comfort food or you like fine dining, Charlotte has a little bit of everything and you can find something good for all of them. I personally love a good fine dining experience. If you watch some of my vlogs, you can see some of the restaurants I have featured that have been in Charlotte here. We have Steak 48, Capitol Grill, Morton, Sullivan, Eddie V's, Ruth Chris, so many to name. We have a very beautiful RH rooftop, such an aesthetically pleasing place. If you've never been, try it out. It is so gorgeous there. We have a food hall called Optimist Hall with some really good eats. And there's a lot of also like shopping plazas that have a lot of different food as well. Charlotte does have a lot of great brunch spots, day parties. So the brunch scene is pretty good in Charlotte. We also have the outlet malls. That's also something to do. If you like luxury and shopping, Southpark Mall is probably going to be one of your favorites. I love Chanel, Saint Laurent, Louis. They have all of that in Southpark Mall, and we have some other malls as well. The next thing, Charlotte is pretty diverse. People are constantly moving here, so there are so many different kinds of people from all over. I feel like I've met more people from elsewhere than I've actually met of Charlotte, which I will mention again in the cons. You will see when you go out to different areas in Charlotte, it is just a wide variety of people from different walks of life. And that can actually go into the next topic, which is dating life. I think that opens up a great opportunity for people because there are so many different kind of people. So dating life can be fun. There's plenty of nice options here. I also think Charlotte is a great city for young professionals. There are a lot of people who are young and thriving in their careers, which goes into the next thing. It is a great place for people in business, healthcare, tech. Charlotte has a big job market. So if you're looking for a job, get on those job boards if you're trying to move to Charlotte and see what they have to offer. And don't settle because the money is out there, okay? Lastly, for the pros list, I think Charlotte is just a very beautiful city in general. Driving into Uptown, it is breathtaking day and nighttime views. Please take advantage of all of the beautiful rooftops in Uptown Charlotte. It's so gorgeous. And not just Uptown. I think you can find beauty in every little part of Charlotte, so that's a great thing. Definitely a good city for a weekend trip. So if you don't live here already and are thinking about moving here, I'd suggest you visit a couple of times and see if this is actually for you. And before I move on, I also want to mention for the sports people, I don't really watch sports, but because we have the Hornets, we have the Panthers, we have a soccer team. I want to say a minor league baseball team too. Not really sure, but we definitely have the Panthers and the Hornets. And going back to the first thing I touched on, which is there's a lot of things to do. There's Bank of America Stadium, PNC Pavilion, the Music Factory area. There are lots of concerts, festivals, all kinds of things that happen in Charlotte. Let's get into my personal con list about Charlotte. So Charlotte is getting up there in price. It is pretty expensive, especially if you're someone who is looking into buying a house. I think a decent apartment in Charlotte would run you at least like $1,600 to $1,800. But of course, do your own research. Maybe you'll find a deal or a steal. But make sure you visit the neighborhood and go on a tour and see if you actually like that place to live in. Charlotte is getting up there. The housing market is a little crazy right now. If you want one of those luxury apartments in maybe Uptown or Southpark, baby, it's gonna run you an arm and a leg. Whether you think those prices are worth it or not to you, to see that Uptown skyline is of course a personal opinion, but it could get a little pricey up here in Charlotte. Charlotte. Next thing on my con list, traffic. Y'all, Charlotte traffic can get insane. When I moved to Charlotte 3 years ago, the traffic was not as bad as it is now. 77 is a mess. If I can avoid driving on 77, I will. But I know they're trying to expand and add lanes to certain areas and highways, so hopefully they do that soon, because rush hour traffic in Charlotte can get a little hectic. Also, you definitely need a car here. It's not really a walkable city unless you live in the heart of Uptown or Southend. Yeah, most places are like either a 10 to 20 minute drive, or if you're driving from like Steel Creek to University, it could be up to 30 minutes. I would say if you're planning like a night out in Charlotte, to try to stay in one area, like go to restaurants and nightlife in one area, because it's a little spread out and you don't want to be all over the place. It could be a headache. Which goes into nightlife. If you are someone who likes to go out a lot, you are used to big city nightlife, Charlotte nightlife might be a little disappointing for you. Charlotte does have a lot of bars, a lot of breweries, and a lot of restaurants, but honey, I feel like it's lacking a space for like the late 20s, 30s group, where it's like sophisticated fun. Also, if you're someone who really enjoys nightclub life, Charlotte doesn't really have much of that. You might be able to kind of get that from World, a Hive nightclub, and it's like a strip of other places as well for nightlife. It's very limited, especially since they closed down the epicenter during the pandemic. A lot of the people who were there for like the prime, the height of epicenter nightlife said that was the place to be, as well as a couple of other places that have since closed down. You might have to travel to like a Miami, a Vegas, and Atlanta to get a true nightlife experience if that is something that you enjoy. Another con I want to talk about is the strict alcohol laws in Charlotte. So we have what is called alcohol law enforcement in Charlotte. So Charlotte has to follow the government rules based on alcohol. Therefore, alcohol cannot be served past 2 a.m. So if you notice, nightlife all closes at 2 a.m. here in Charlotte, and any place that is open after 2 a.m. in Charlotte, alcohol law enforcement will come make sure the establishment is abiding by the alcohol guidelines. Do not play with them. Also, there is no bottomless mimosas, but you can purchase a bottle, a pitcher, or a flight. Also, the liquor stores are government run. Lastly, a major political thing that people talk about is the gentrification of Charlotte. A lot of Charlotte natives are either being bought out of their businesses, their homes, being displaced so that they can make space for new businesses to bring in income into Charlotte, as well as the very fast growing population. I'm not going to really go further into that because I am not the best person to give information on that. And that's something that seems to be an issue everywhere. And really quick, before I end the video, I did want to touch on nursing in Charlotte because I am a nurse. Shout out to my subscriber, Michaela, who asked me on my experience as a nurse in Charlotte. I would say there's two major hospital systems in Charlotte, which are Atrium and Novant. I worked at one of them. I will not specify which one, but my experience on my unit, it was very understaffed, but a lot of management issues, a lot of scheduling issues. Now that I've travel nursed for a year, I know that is a lot of hospitals around the country. They're understaffed and overworked. So if you are a nurse in Charlotte, there is no patient to nurse ratio. There is no cap. And I say that because as a travel nurse, I've worked at hospitals that have a cap of 4. We never went over 4 patients to 1 nurse. Of course, it depends on your specialty, the unit you work at, and the facility you work at, but ratios can get a little bit high, so that's another con. Charlotte has a lot of job opportunities for nurses. I touched in that on the pros. There are a lot of jobs out here. Another con might be salary. I think compared to other states, Charlotte is not very low, but it's not high either. It's kind of in the middle, especially if you have experience. Personally, I think it's low. If you're a nurse, you should negotiate your salary. Always know your value and your worth in the workplace, and make sure that you advocate for yourself when you're going on these job interviews. This is just a reminder to all my nurses, you have options. You don't have to be anywhere that you don't want to be. whether you want to be inpatient, outpatient, home health, assisted living, labs, research, whatever you want to do. Honestly, that is the beauty of nursing and your nursing degree. There are so many places you can go. You have so many options. You are never limited. It is just about finding the right job for you that you are passionate about. Also finding a company culture that you enjoy, a company that you feel like cares about you and has similar values to you. I am going to end the video here. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Please also comment and tell me if you like Charlotte, if you live here, or if you visited. What's your favorite thing about Charlotte? What's your least favorite thing of Charlotte? And I hope we can have some great discussions in the comment. Please subscribe if you like my content. Go back and watch some vlogs. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.
You can do what you wanna, live how you wanna. You can do what you wanna, live how you wanna. You can do what you wanna.